Are you listening?
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Nerf Report, your go-to source for all the week's gaming news, nerfed into one show once a week, so you can worry less about reading the news and get back to playing those video games. If you think that sounds awesome, make sure to support the channel by hitting that subscribe button and sharing it with your friends. And of course, on this week's episode, PlayStation held its very first State of Play event, in which we received over 17 new game announcements, along with the latest in the ever-growing list of outrage. But before we talk about any of that, your top headlines. 2018 may have been the year of battle royales, but so far, 2019 has been the year of You got games on your phone? So far this year, PlayStation, Microsoft, and Google have all introduced their take on playing video games from your phone. But this week, Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, announced Apple's plan for the future of gaming. During an Apple keynote this week, we were introduced to Apple Arcade, a new gaming service that features over 100 games playable both online and offline, from PC, television, laptops, iPads, and iPhones. And while pricing has yet to be revealed, Apple Arcade will feature 0 ads, 0 in-app purchases, access for up to 6 family members, guaranteed privacy, and games from some of the industry's top leading developers. Nintendo has been rumored to be working on a brand new model for the Nintendo Switch for months now. But thanks to the folks over at the Wall Street Journal, we now know that Nintendo is seeing double. According to the Wall Street Journal, Nintendo is looking to introduce 2 new models of the Switch this year. The first model will feature enhanced upgrades to the Switch targeted at the more hardcore gamer, while the second model will be a cheaper alternative designed for the casual gamer or someone looking to buy a second Switch. Nintendo will also be partnering with display manufacturer Sharp to implement their displays into both of the new models of the Switch. It's currently speculated that Nintendo will introduce both models at E3 this year. Well, it's been speculated for weeks now, but Gearbox Software has finally confirmed that the king of looter shooters, also known as Schluthers, we got to go to play some Schluthers, Borderlands is back, baby! During a press conference at PAX East, Gearbox revealed multiple Borderlands-themed announcements, including brand new DLC for Borderlands 2 VR, a free 4K update for Borderlands The Handsome Collection, Borderlands Game of the Year Edition, which will bring the original Borderlands game to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC with 4K resolution. But easily the biggest announcement was the reveal of Borderlands 3. Now, very little was announced about Borderlands 3, but Gearbox promised to announce more on April 3rd. However, during the 3-minute trailer, we did see a few familiar faces, including Lilith, Tiny Tina, and Brick, along with some new villains and new Vault Hunters. But the most insane reveal of the trailer was that Borderlands 3 will feature over 1 billion guns. And finally, Xbox held an ID at Xbox Showcase this week, in which they announced 8 indie games coming to the Xbox Game Pass. Xbox owners can look forward to playing the space exploration game Outer Wilds, the first-person cel-shaded shooter Void Bastards, and the 8-person competitive platforming arcade game Killer Queen Black. Also coming to the Xbox Game Pass is Operencia, the Stolen Sun, Supermarket Shriek, The Good Life, and Blazing Chrome. But just in case you've ever wanted to fulfill that lifelong dream of building friendships while trying to outdrink Satan in hell, well, the Indie Game After Party will be coming to the Xbox Game Pass.
Now for something completely different. Yeah.
PlayStation, the current king of console gaming, with nearly 90 million PlayStation 4 sold worldwide, and the platform being home to such exclusives like Spider-Man, The Last of Us, Uncharted, and God of War. You can imagine that when Sony announces an event like State of Play, gamers stop and listen. Last week, PlayStation posted a tweet announcing the State of Play, a new event in which Sony promised to reveal new PS4 and PSVR software updates and announcements. But of course, the internet being, well, the internet, read it like this: "Sup bros, we're skipping E3, so hold on to your butts, because at State of Play, we'll be announcing a new console, a new streaming service, and 100 freaking new games. Hashtag Xbox sucks." Now, of course, nobody who pays attention really expected PlayStation to announce the PS5 during this event. I think if you asked the average gamer, they would have said that the State of Play was going to land somewhere between inside Xbox and the Nintendo Direct. And of course, when the dust settled, the State of Play really landed on more of Sony's attempt to be a Nintendo Direct. In fact, the State of Play featured over 17 game announcements, with 12 of those announcements being new VR games. Now, I understand that for some gamers, VR announcements might not appeal to you, but keep in mind, PlayStation has sold over 4.2 million PSVR units, and with 90 million PlayStation 4s currently being on the market, they clearly want to grow that number. So, announcing 12 quality new games for the platform definitely helps. I mean, during the State of Play, PlayStation announced new VR games like No Man's Sky VR, Blood and Truth, Mini Mech Mayhem, Jupiter and Mars, Falcon Age, Trover Saves the Universe, Everybody Golfs VR, Tables of Tales Vacation Simulator, Concrete Genie VR, Iron Man VR, and Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted VR. And this is a very important point for me, because the biggest complaint about Sony is that in the past they failed to support new hardware with proper games to sell it. The PS Move, the PSP, the PS Vita all struggled due to the lack of quality games. But this State of Play featured multiple VR experiences that could justify the cost of buying a PlayStation VR. Now, games like Beat Saber, Creed, and Astrobot will be joined by Trover Saves the Universe, Blood and Truth, No Man's Sky, Iron Man VR, and Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. But of course, there were plenty of non-VR games announced as well. The State of Play featured an update for Crash Team Racing, the remake of the 1999 PlayStation exclusive racing game, which will feature overhauled graphics, online and local split-screen co-op. Crash Team Racing will be launching for the PlayStation 4 on June 21st. Now, one of the announcements that really surprised me during the State of Play was a brand new PlayStation exclusive, Ready Set Heroes. Ready Set Heroes will be the perfect combination of a dungeon crawler and battle arena. Gamers will explore, battle, and race through various dungeons with friends. Whichever team reaches the end of the dungeon first will spawn a battle arena where the teams will fight to the death. Ready Set Heroes will launch for the PlayStation 4 in 2019. State of Play also gave us a look at the brand new narrative-driven game Observation, where you take over the controls of a space station where the crew is facing a mid-mission crisis. The catch is, well, you're the space station. But for me, my favorite part of the State of Play was getting an extended look at Concrete Genie. Concrete Genie will tell the story of Ash, a bullied teenager who finds solace through art and the world he creates with his magical paintbrush. With his paintbrush, any of Ash's creation, both good and bad, will come to life. Concrete Genie offers unique visuals, fun gameplay, and a deep narrative. Concrete Genie will be launching exclusively for the PlayStation 4 in the fall of 2019. PlayStation also gave gamers an extended look at the new zombie survival game Days Gone, which, in case you weren't aware, launches in 3 weeks. Days Gone takes place in the harsh reality that is the zombie apocalypse. Gamers will explore the world of Days Gone as Deacon St. John, a bounty hunter who must survive this drastically changed world filled with freakers, marauders, and militia. Days Gone will be launching exclusively for the PlayStation 4 on April 26th. And what I'm about to say is going to be extremely controversial. This was a good first direct for PlayStation. You see, I say controversial because currently the State of Play showcase has 9,000 likes and 26,000 dislikes. And if an episode of the Nerf Report ever got 26,000 dislikes, Number one, cool, 26,000 people saw the video, but I would hope it would be for me selling out or possibly filming a dead body in a forest. But I think where this controversy stems from is a trend that seems to be becoming extremely prevalent in gaming today. We as gamers love hype. We overhype the smallest of things and expect grandeur from every announcement. Since Sony announced that they would be skipping this year's E3, gamers have been speculating as to what the replacement of that showcase would be. And even though Sony made it extremely clear as to what the state of play would feature, there were plenty of gamers out there who expected this showcase to be bigger than E3. But in no way did Sony ever hint at the fact that that was going to be the case. Now, I would completely agree with you that Nintendo and Xbox's showcases feel more personal than what the state of play was. But then I would also reasonably state that this was Sony's first try. Like, if you would have judged this show by the very first episode, I would have never lived down talking about Fitbit condoms. And where I want to leave this is by reiterating, this was a great first showing for PlayStation. And I think this event did exactly what Sony wanted it to do. Inform gamers on what games we can look forward to in the upcoming months. And for those of you looking for that massive E3 replacement, it's gonna happen. State of Plays will continue, the PlayStation 5 is going to be announced, PlayStation will continue making good games, and the sun will rise tomorrow. And finally, for this week, we come to that noise, of course, signifies that we are running out of time and coming close to the end of the show. So, in order to cover all the week's remaining news, we must initiate a segment that I like to call Every single week, we have so much news to talk about and so little time to do it. So we take all the week's remaining news, put 60 seconds on the clock, and try to cover it as fast as humanly possible without running out of breath, passing out, or dying. And you may be asking yourself, like, why would I watch the entire show when I can just watch the last 60 seconds to get all the news? Well, that's kind of on you. That's not really on me. So, with that in mind, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. And go. Lord of the Rings Gollum is getting his own video game. I genuinely am hyped for that game. I can't wait to play another Lord of the Rings game. EA announced that they have laid off 300 employees this week, and I hope everyone lands on their feet. Twitch introduced squad streams this week, and speaking of Twitch, Twitch Prime members for the month of April will get 12 free months of Nintendo Online, so make sure to pick that up. Bulletstorm Duke of the Switch was announced this week. Warframe announced that they are nearing 50 million players. Congratulations to them. Valve is updating Steam's user interface. Fortnite introduced a new mode called The Floor is Lava. The Dreams Early Access will go live on April 16th. And finally for this week, in case you need to add another mini console to your collection, Sega introduced the Sega Genesis Mini, which will be launching in September of 2019 and will feature 40 new games. And you guessed it, Sonic will definitely be there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Nerds in 60 Seconds, and that is it for this week's episode of the show. If you like what you saw, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and please share it with your friends. As always, my name is Bryant Chappel. You are you, and, well, this has been the Nerf Report. Thanks for watching.